like politics. Couple of, dudes talking about birth.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. We probably switch over to home building.
I think we should immediately.
Immediately.
Brooks, so having a child can be tough on a woman, but also building a house can be tough on a couple or anybody who's trying to go through the entire process. What are some of the biggest challenges that you think people face in building a home? Because it sounds pretty, sexy on the outside, custom-built home.
And it can be. Building a custom home can be a ton of fun. I mean, we have right here, I just passed this out to you guys, a pathway, a chutes and ladder pathway of all the different steps that go into building a home. And what we have here is you just start out with an initial meeting, and it's first just asking questions and finding a builder that you're comfortable with that can understand the process simply.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can be a fun process, and it usually is a process that allows couples to improve their relationship and come out with a home that's designed that actually improves their lifestyle and help them. Our goal is to help people live life to the fullest, and we find that happens through good design, good architecture, and good construction materials, so people get from a house that doesn't work for them to a house that does work for them.
Well, if you're going to build a house, you have to figure out where it's going to be. You
Correct.
have to find that piece of land. What are some of the challenges, of that first part of finding the right piece of land? And, how do you guys try to make it easier for people?
Well, what we do is we actually work with our clients to actually source the land for them. So a lot of times people will think, gee, I want to find a piece of land or a lot, and I want to build a custom home. So they start kind of in the wrong place. They actually start looking for property. And most people don't realize that all the land is already being sourced by real estate agents like Kalen's company. And most all that land is if you think about it, retail and wholesale environments, the retail land is on the market in the multiple listing. Everybody can see the land retail. The wholesale land that would go to manufacturers like us as builders, that is all off market and moves to the builders before it ever gets to the market. So anything that's on the market in the multiple of land related has already been looked over by every builder in the market. So there's no secret little spots of land. So the best thing to do is to team up with your custom home builder and have them help you source land. Now, that's something we do in our business, and we actually do the land feasibilities. I even brought in a little more show and tell because I like to do that.
It's really good on the radio.
It's great on the radio, but I like to show it to you because I figure that you'll be able to translate this.
Okay.
So anyway, so it's a 50-item check sheet, 8 pages long, that we go through on every piece of land that we buy. And it has all the details about it. So it might be, is there sewer available? Is there water available? So buying land is pretty complicated. One, you have to find it, and then you have to make sure it's buildable.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where you really have to bring an expert in a lot sooner to make sure that you don't just buy a land that doesn't have a water line or doesn't have septic or sewer.
Yeah, so you talk about this this report, and how does that make it easier for somebody? Because a lot of people, they go in, they're like, oh, this is a cool piece of land. And as you said, it's probably been looked over by other builders. How does somebody realize if it's going to be the right one for them? How does that report start to make it easier for people? Because that's probably what they're looking for.
Sure. So what people are trying to figure out is it the right piece of land for them? Is it going to be, will it work with their budget? Because they're really concerned about not making a mistake, buying the wrong piece of property and having it not work their overall budget. So again, you have to start with the end in mind. And that's what we do with each one of our clients is that we ask them, what do you want to look like when you're done? What do you want it to feel like? We go through a detailed needs, wants, and wishes analysis. And so everybody who's trying to figure out what they want for a finished home should go through that and decide, I want 3,000 square feet, I need a bonus room, I want a view, I want a 3-car garage, 2-car garage. And then you back into, okay, how much will that cost? Where would I want to have it located? And what do I want the finishes to be? And only when you've answered that, then do you go look for your land. So land is where we want to start, but it's not really the right place to start.
So you talked about the land, being, of course, in the right place, and then the property has to sit on that land in the right way. You'd mentioned, or I guess brought up a little bit about creating the home that functions the way you want it to. the land must play a pretty key role in that.
It's a very key role because there's a lot of issues with feng shui where you want your house to face north, east, west, south. You want to have the backyard to have a nice southern exposure for sun. Are you concerned about shade? Are you interested in views? So each lot or parcel of land we look at, we are identifying what are some of the key components that are important. That goes into our land database. And then when clients come to us and say, gee, I've been trying to find a piece of land, can you help? Absolutely. And then if we don't have something in our database, we source it for them and find something that fits their needs, again, fits their budget, fits the house design they're looking for.
Like if they want a pool, it's probably going to be a little bit different. Different land will allow for that.
Yeah, there's all sorts of regulations in each jurisdiction about lot coverage. How much of the lot can you cover with swimming pools, driveways, parking lots, things like that. And so you have to have your total picture, the end in mind, before you actually set out to find that piece of property.
So I guess you got to really find the house, find the property. Maybe what is this going to take in terms of like time and energy? What does this process look like from start to finish? Because you do have to start somewhere, and eventually you hope to finish.
Absolutely. And really, I recommend that people allocate about a year of time from starting to look for land to actually moving in. And the construction cycle takes about 6 months, and the permitting cycle takes about 2 months. So we allow 4 months for land, finding the land and locating it, doing the feasibility, setting up financing, and then getting ready to start construction. So someone says, well, gee, how much time will it take? It actually doesn't take very much time from the buyer or the homeowner, because we do all the work for them. We source the land, we do all the studies to make sure the lot works properly, has the right sewer, septic, water meter. Example, we're just doing a feasibility on a piece of property for a buyer, and the property is about $120,000 purchase price. We just discovered it has the water district's going to require a looping main to loop the water main. It's a $100,000 bill. Okay, well, that's not going to work. So
$100,000 for water
to loop the water main. So,
what is looping a water main?
That means connect it from one street to another street. So you now have a loop that goes in a big circle, so the water flows all the way around in a circle and doesn't dead end into the end of a street. So it's a pretty common requirement. But if you just went to buy a lot and said, "Gee, this lot looks like the right price, and I like it. Okay, I'll buy it," then you own it. You still don't have a building permit. You still don't have water. You still don't have sewer. So that's where this
a lot of feasibility that goes into it to make sure it's right.
Yep, and we spend 30 to 40 days doing that while we're working on design. And so your question, to come back to time frame, is if you figure about a year, and you'll need a little bit of time as a couple to allocate to meeting with us.
Well, a lot of decisions to be made too.
I mean, we work it out to. At the end of about the first 4 months, all the decisions are made, all the selections are done, and then you just enjoy the building process. And it's, if you allocated about 2 hours a week during the first 4 months, all those decisions would be done, and then you just enjoy it. I mean, it works pretty quick.
Sounds like 2 hours a week to make the decision, and then every dinner and lunch and time you're with your wife arguing about what decision will be made.
Well,
in some ways, right?
Yeah, and what we do is we eliminate that argument. So we really act as, and what a lot of times the people really enjoy working with us is we act as that interested, disinterested third party where we can hear both viewpoints.
Like the marriage ref.
I guess there's a show called The Marriage Ref. Yeah. But anyway, so there's actually a lot of kind of psychoanalysis that goes into building a home for people, where you're going to be working with them, and we act as a way that people can communicate what they want, and that way they can get along the whole way.
Yeah, walk me through real quick, and because we just have about a minute left, okay. You have a game that people can actually play.
You bet. So what it is they go step by step, and it shows people, because the biggest question we always get is, where do we start? And I say we start at the beginning. And we go to the end.
Thank you, Yogi Berra.
Yeah. Well, it's really simple. And then we walk them through and then I send them away with this this game of chutes and ladders, really, that everybody remembers. They had a good time playing it, and they can just follow along with it. And this goes right into their binder that they start with, and then they know, okay, at the very end, we get to move in, and we have caverns of color. Find your way in color caves. Gain 30 days. Just kind of fun stuff that makes it not so daunting.
Yeah.
So they can go to our website at powellrenovations.com and download this, or we can go to Talk to Scott on our website and get some good free information right away.
Well, right off the bat, just looking at your chutes and ladders style or Candyland style of game, it does not only make the process appear to be a little bit more fun and less daunting, but I think it lays out a really nice roadmap for people to understand. You don't just start at the beginning, but what the beginning is.
Yep,
and the process that people will go until they do get those keys, move in, and finally kick you out of their house.
Yeah, and that's, really, people have asked us to move in with them because we're so much fun.
Really?
Yeah. It's almost like breaking up at the end.
Yeah.
We say, well, we'll come back in 30 days and finish out your punch list for you that if, you have 2 or 3 things to fix, and we'll take care of it. But it is an ongoing...
But you do move out.
Yeah, I do move out.
That's
very...
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing relationship.
Just not in the same
home.
Not
in the same house.